Welcome back, everyone. This is Dom, and we are playing another episode of Kerbal Realism. Today, I've actually done a lot of stuff in between episode 4 and episode 5 now. I actually streamed some of the stuff that I did in between. I plan on doing that, and I know that the releases of these videos is quite a few days ahead of when I'm recording them. So basically, you might get a sneak peek into the next episode. Which is actually pretty cool. So if you watch stream, stream information I think is on my main page thing. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and jump back into the game, KRB, and I'm going to show you what I was up to. Last episode we put a geostationary satellite up. Can't speak today. And today I finished it. So this is our original one right here. This is our original satellite. And actually we're going to just jump into there. Might as well. Boop. I also, while in between episodes, I got a lot more science. I did one more min-miss run just to get a lot more science, and I also did a bunch of local science, is what I like to call it, on Kerbin. It's probably the best way for me to explain it. I just kind of flew some places, landed, did a couple more puddle jumper things, and got some material science as well. So I got a decent amount, and I unlocked a few nodes. So yeah, this is our first communication satellite we set up before, so this is not really new to you guys. So we're going to go and jump over to the second one. The reason why I just want to jump between them, let's bring this up. Number one, it all looks the same, so let's do me a favor here, and we'll do the positive normal. Boop, boop, boop. Hopefully I don't have ferrum aerospace on. It always messes with that. I like to put these guys all in the same position, just for fun. So he'll get there. While he's doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and show you kind of the layout of everything. So this guy right here is basically identical to the placement of this one. All these big cones, we already had explained before, it's kind of the direction of where all the satellites are. The antennas are pointing. So this guy is placed just barely. Let's see if we can get a good look at this. Just barely within the cone of influence of our original one, so our mission control one. I didn't even rename these guys yet, and I'm actually planning on doing that today. This will be number 2, and this will be number 3, based upon a normal trajectory. You'd encounter them in that direction. Shoot. So yeah, so they're barely inside the cone of our first guy here. Ooh. Okay, good. I was curious. I'm like, this doesn't look right. And same with him. So he's barely facing Kerbin, and the first communication satellite is barely within that cone. There's better ways of doing this. I'm pretty sure if you place them further apart or closer together, it doesn't really matter to particularly begin with. Basically, you have coverage across the entire suborbit here. So there's an orbit, I'd have to say about whatever this distance is, so I'd have to say 200,000 or something like that off the surface. 200 kilometers off the surface. If you had an orbit about that size, you'd be covered on all angles every single time you orbit. So this is the reason why I did this is so that I can send probes up to other orbital bodies, and that's exactly what I have done. But first, the thing I had to do was set these guys up so that if I was going around Kerbin here, I wouldn't lose signal when I wasn't within the first geostationary satellite. So let's jump over to the moon. This satellite here, stupid glitch. I redesigned the satellite, the geostationary one, with a couple of extra little parts here and there. This is not really useful for us right now because we're on a almost perfectly level flight around, so we would just be covering the exact same amount of space. I'll explain that later, and we're actually going to send another one up very soon. But yeah, so this guy is currently floating around the moon here, and to get him up here, I had to fly him around and get him within orbit. The only way I was capable of doing this is if I had connection the whole time. So if this main satellite had passed behind Kerbin, I'd need another one to back it up. And that satellite needed to have connection to the original. So that's the reason why we had set up this communications ring there. Also, I changed all the inclinations on each one of the originals, 3 satellites there, to be just about 0. So they're basically flat orbits, so that there's no weird up and downs to them. Same thing I did with this guy. Boop, boop, boop. Also, another thing I did in between episodes was I got rid of all the floating debris around, so we would be able to basically, first of all, I want to put this guy the correct direction, positive normal. I like to have it just set up this way. Boop. I also put this guy with a lot of RCS just in case I had to adjust his orbit, but I didn't really have to because I had enough fuel to do it with the rocket I brought up here. So if we need to make some minor adjustments, that's what the RCS is for. So let me get down to this probe. He has a normal antenna on him. Let me take a look at this side. He's got 2 normal antennas on him. Really, all I needed was 1. I just put 2 on for balance. Bunch of batteries, everywhere batteries. Please, please, and please put batteries on your things. We have 2 dishes. One of them is in use at all times. This one is facing towards Kerbin, which gives us signal to be able to operate it. That's what that big cone is right there. And let's go back in slowly. There we go. One thing I noticed about my videos is I'm not very consistent with being slow, panning in and out and moving. And, okay, so he's got a bunch of batteries. He's got a radiator, which I'm not really sure if I really need it, but whatever. A bunch of solar panels, and he's got this surveying unit, and this is for the Kethane mod, which we will be sending up another probe in the near future to scan for Kethane on the Moon and Minmus. It's a rare resource, and you have to scan with these cool scanning probe things to find it. It's like deposits of it. So it has these normal antennas and one of these to go back to Kerbin. This one here is for local communications. This thing can reach out to 2.5 million meters. So basically 250,000 kilometers, if you do the little bit of elementary math. So that is actually going to be setting up a communications relay on this planet. We're not going to use this cool cone of influence thing that we have over here. We're actually going to use omnidirectional antennas around the moon. And the reason why I chose this distance here is because it's just barely out of the reach of to have 3 probes around it. So basically what I want to do is set up 3 probes, and for them to talk to each other, just like we have over in Kerbin. 3 probes, and they'll all be about 60 degrees from each other. So 60 degrees, 30 degrees off of center. So 30 degrees that way, there'll be one over there, and there'll be one over there. And all 3 of them will be able to talk to each other without having this cool cone of influence. The omnidirectional antennas will be able to do that. And anything within the range of it will be able to talk to it. So if we are anywhere on this surface, we'll be able to talk with all these satellites because they'll be able to talk with each other. And each one of them will also be pointed back to Kerbin, so we will always have a communications network down to Kerbin. Now, what's the use of this? There's very good uses for it, just because the moon here is geostationary, tidally locked. That's the word I'm looking for. The moon faces Kerbin the same way at all times of the day. So it doesn't, if you want to put it this way, if you're looking at from Kerbin, so let's go ahead and jump over here at Kerbin, and we're looking at the moon, the same face of it will always face us at all times. So there's actually a dark side of the moon. It's not always dark when it comes to the sun. It has to do with us looking at it. So we will never be able to see the other side of the moon looking from the view of Kerbin. So this is always the view they get. They never get to go look what this is unless something flies behind it. So that also means that if you're on the back here, you won't be able to communicate with Kerbin ever. So to remedy that, we're going to send up 2 more satellites, get them into position. I'm going to do that off camera, get them in position, and then we'll be back to basically show it off, and then we'll send another one up for something else. So I will see you guys when that is done. Alright, I might have lied a little bit. We're not going to come back when I'm done. Reason why is because I want to show off this cool rocket, and also the sun just came up. So that was one of the reasons why I was like, you know what, we might as well do it. So this is my rocket. It has about 4 stages, so there was a original stage that already is gone. And we're just going to go ahead and get rid of this. Boop, boop. There's our fairing. There's our satellite. Our satellite, it was protected by the fairing originally because, yeah, it needed to be. Let's go ahead and attach this to mission control, and this one will go to the first one. Doesn't really matter. Make sure that's in the same one. Let's activate that one. Let's also bring out our solar panels, and let's activate this one. This will just allow us to basically have good communication. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Let's go ahead and just nose over a little bit and start kind of burning. Oops, let's get rid of this so I can see. I love having Flight Engineer. It's like my favorite little tool now, just because it allows me to watch the rocket as I am burning, which is really cool. Great function. I don't have to watch the map anymore for my periapsis or anything. I can just watch the numbers go. Go. And we just got to get a normal stable orbit here. So we're going to get a nice stable orbit, and then we will go ahead and adjust ourselves to get to a node where we can burn for the moon. After we get to the moon, we are going to basically try to get captured in a nice little orbit about 250,000 meters around it, just because that's just barely above the required distance that you need to be. The actual distance, the minimum distance, would be 200,000 meters. It's just a little bit of geometry I did on scratch paper in front of me. I wish I could do that on camera. Next time I might get my dock cam up. We'll do that maybe next time. And we're almost at stable orbit. So let's go ahead and just throttle this down a little bit. And there we are. Cool. That's a stable orbit there. We will always be in communication, which is awesome, because that's the cutoff right about there for this probe. And actually, maybe we won't always be within communication. Should probably slide some stuff around. There might be a few seconds without communication, but we don't really care right now. The reason why I say that is because I have us pointed at a couple specific. I have us pointed at this guy right here and this guy right here. I didn't target this guy yet, and there's no point to. So we are going to set up a node to go to the moon. So let's do it over here on the sunny side. Boop. And this is actually a much less efficient one than I did before. I had a much better position before, because I actually could get there with the main stage without firing the second stage. That's a good one right there. So the second stage will bring us that extra 40, because we need 849 meters per second. This stage has 814 meters per second. Let's jump over to the node. Cool part about probes is you don't even have to do any maneuvering yourself. You can just allow the computers to do it. Make sure you have your Ferrum Aerospace helpers off. That's what I like to call them, helpers. Let's go to node, flight computer, set it to node. That will always point us in the correct direction. Slow us down. Awesome. Sorry, there's a couple of overlapping things here. Let's move that down. And that kind of works there. Okay. We've got a minute 16. Let's just go ahead and speed that up just a little bit, because I know this is not going to take that long of a burn. And there we go. 27 seconds. That's pretty good. We will always be pointed at the node, which is amazing. It'll even move with the node if it needs to. One of my favorite parts of this. I actually use the SAS units that are built for the airplanes. And as soon as we get done with staging this, I'm just going to see what our intercept... Oh, it's not even close. And then what we'll do is just throttle down, stage, and kind of bring that up. Let's just take a look at it from this view to see how close we're getting. Okay. And we'll get rid of our node going here, just because, oops, it's easier to, come on, there we go, make it easier. It's just easier to make sure it doesn't wobble off its target. Boop. Let's go ahead and make that just about 200. That's perfect. Oh, it's like almost exactly perfect. Get rid of that. Yeah, look at that. Perfect. So we are going to go ahead and just jump up to that node where we change our sphere of influence. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we would have definitely enough time of communication to jump on both of these. So these are basically ideally placed for now. Boop, boop, boop. Once we get far enough, we're going to switch one of these dishes to be pointed at Kerbin instead of a specific satellite, because we can conserve the energy if we need to. I think this is a good distance. Let's go ahead and just grab this one. Let's go ahead and just point it at Kerbin. And then we get our cone of influence, and there it is. And we will always be able to... It's this guy right here. So this end and this end, we will always be able to target a... what is those things called? A satellite. So I'm going to switch this to active vessel, but I'm going to also deactivate it. And we're also going to activate... Where is it? It's on this side, behind the computer. There it is. We're also going to activate the omnidirectional antenna. Reasons just for fun. Not really a point just yet. Okay. We're going to get to the moon here. Let's just wait for our alarm clock to be like, hey, I know you. Look at that. Look how far away that is. Those two omnidirectional antennas are now talking to each other. That's what that line right there is. That's a very, very far distance. So basically that is like the longest distance you can have on these things, 2.5 million meters. Let's get rid of this. Boop. Okay, we are going to go ahead and just take the turn around here. Cool part about this is we will always stay in communication with Kerbin, the way that I planned these trajectories out. And that's just about good there. Got a minute to our periaps there, so we're going to point at the negative gradient, basically retrograde, best way for me to put it for you guys. And we're going to wait to burn, just to bring this down. And we'll do it from this view, just because it's bootious. Sweet. So these guys are now officially talking, which I did not expect it to be that fast. The only thing about keeping such a tight orbit here is that I have to keep these guys in exactly the right positions. So they have to be basically have the exact same orbital period from each other. So more or less they're geostationary with respect to each other. Boop, boop, boop. And 19 seconds to burn. And we might as well go now. Cool. So we're just going to watch it from this view. Watch that beautiful thing burn. And there we are. We are officially captured. Let's let this thing go. Bring our numbers down to about 250. Apoapsis. Let's wait. $253 is not bad. Okay, that's perfect right there. Awesome. So we are taking a faster orbit than this guy. A little bit. Until we get to this point. But the next thing I want to do is actually adjust our inclination. Just about right there. That's good. That's good. So we'll jump to that node. Hopefully we'll have enough electric charge. Boop, boop, boop. Awesome. Let's point at node. Cool. Let's adjust our inclination in a few seconds. And you'll see it right here, inclination. We're going to try to get that close to 0 as possible. As you can tell, it's kind of going down. And, oop, we changed it back up. Oops. So we will go to, we won't go to node. We're going to go to the negative normal here. Try to get it back down to 0 if possible. Bloop, because I was just eyeballing it. Okay. This is not the best place to be doing it, but we're only half a degree, so I don't have a problem with that. Boop. And we'll remove that. Our apoapsis is just about the same now. And we will jump over there and bring this guy outwards. As long as we have communication here, I'll be very, very happy. Let's add the alarm clock to apoapsis, so we don't have to worry about waiting for it. And there it goes. We still have a nice set there, and we will go prograde here. Jump to the prograde marker. We have 46 seconds until we should start bringing the apoapsis out. Move that over again for you. Do it from this view for fun. Boop, boop, boop. And we'll time accelerate just a little bit. 1912, there we go. Okay. That looks about good. Right there. They are basically the same right now. Cool. I'm going to try to get these guys perfectly the same orbital period. And I want to get just about 2 hours of orbital period. Reasoning is because I only want them to be behind this thing for about 1 hour, for sun exposure time. The faster they rotate, the less battery they need. Boop, boop. And I'm going to do, let's go to positive normal so we can get rid of this stage here. Boop. Sorry. So our inclination is about half a degree still. Perfect. Awesome. We are so good at this game. Awesome. Yeah, so that's exactly what the plan is. Right now I'm going to be keeping all of their antennas pointed towards Kerbin, or at least one of them, and the other one will always be just on, so that anything within the radius will be able to communicate. We're going to need a third one that's just about, let's take this thing from a top view. That would look just about here on the orbit, so I think we're going to have to bring this a little bit tighter. Probably put him here, put another one right around here. But if they all can talk to each other, I don't have a problem with that. We don't actually need to get the last one perfect, because as long as these two are talking and I'm talking with the last one, these two don't need to be talking over here. But that is going to be, I think that's actually going to be it for this episode. I know it's short. I'm going to get the last one up in between. And then next episode, we'll send a survey probe out. It's going to look just like this. And start surveying the surface here. And I'll show you how to do a good orbit and everything to be able to basically survey this planet. Or this moon is the best way to put it. That will be all. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.